All right, everyone. Hope you got something to write with. Take some good notes tonight. But before I go to the slides, Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. And I hope that you had a great end of your year. I know the schedule, obviously, for the last month, it's like we haven't seen each other as a team, as a regular group in about a month. You know, we had the special Zooms with Tara, and then we had Rachel, and we had, a mixed group. We thought we were off one week and we weren't. It was a weird schedule, but first of all, Happy New Year. I hope you guys had a great holiday season. It was the first time in a long time that Hanukkah and Christmas were on the same day. I don't know. That might have been 100 years or so since that happened, but between the holidays and New Year's, hopefully you got your batteries recharged. You were able to reconnect with, family and loved ones, and maybe made some new contacts, with people and renewed some contacts. And I'm going to talk to you a little about that later. I was absolutely flabbergasted over the last couple days with how many older connections that I thought were kind of dead. I'm talking about prospects, that just half of which reached out to me, and I sent a Happy New Year message. And if you haven't done that, obviously you should do that with everybody you've spoken to in the past year about the product or the business. But it there's just a feeling out there that it's not just us, it's not just our prospects, not just LifeVantage, but people are ready for a change. And I know that that's a term, but I think our government was ready for a change. People are ready for a change. The economy is ready for a change. I just think everybody and everything is ready for a change. And you and I have what people are looking for. Okay, we have what they're looking for. What are they looking for? Well, they're either looking for a way to earn more money. Okay, they're looking for a way to do something and control their health. Okay, I mean, those are things that people want. They're looking for freedom, where they can do it on their own terms. I can tell you that's probably the subject that I talk to people most about these days, is they just don't want to do the routine office thing anymore, the routine job thing anymore. They're getting up at 6 or 7 in the morning and getting home at 6 or 7 at night. They don't want to do it anymore. And I'm talking about people that have been doing it, not the younger generation. I'm talking about people that have been doing it 20, 30, 40 years. They don't want to do it anymore, but and everyone likes the idea of working from home, but it's not just the working from home. It's really about the freedom of working from wherever you want to be. As long as you can do something from your cell phone or your laptop, okay, you can, it doesn't matter if you're home or at the beach or in another country for that matter. It doesn't make any difference. And that seems to be what people are looking for. And I think we're going to find, and you're very educated. This group is very educated. We're aware of what's been done to our food for decades in this country. We're aware at how powerful big pharma is. We're aware at how the food companies and the drug companies work together to make sure that they can earn the most possible off of us. Okay. I mean, it's not an accident that we're the most unhealthy and fattest country in the world, yet we have the most resources. That's not an accident. That's a plan. That was a plan. But now that information is readily available. That's not new news anymore. Okay. If somebody doesn't know that, they've just been an ostrich with their head in the sand. Okay. And I don't mean just us who are in the industry. I'm talking about the general public now has figured something's wrong. Okay, something is not working the way it did when my parents were raising me and their parents were raising them. something changed, and over the decades, it was gradual. But now when you look at it, and you might have heard me say this before, but we've had the good fortune of spending a lot of time in Europe, April and I, and different countries. Now, Kenneth is over there all the time, and a lot of you may have been also. But there's a dramatic difference in their food and our food. Okay, it's not the same stuff. And the stuff that makes us fat and sick over here, they're healthy as a horse over there. Well, why is that? Well, maybe because the McDonald's French fry over there has 3 ingredients in it: potatoes, salt, and an oil that's good for your body. And over here, a McDonald's French fry has 21 ingredients in it, and 15 of those ingredients have been banned in European countries. So what I'm sharing with you is people are ripe for a change on all fronts. Okay, like I said, with government, with work, with everything that you and I look at and deal with every day, they're ready to do something different. But we need to let them know that we have something different. Okay, we got to let them know. And I'll tell you, I started sending messages out to some of our prospects. And, some of them go back 9, 10 months. I can tell you, April shares information with people that can go back 20, 30 years. I mean, I think they've died already, and she's still messaging them, to see if they want to get in the business. I mean, it's mind-boggling, but we need to let people know what we got. And I think you heard this, and you know how close we are with Tara Wilson. She's brilliant, and she's a Mensa, and she's extremely smart. There's no taking that away from her. But the reason why people listen to her and move with her and get involved with her is that cackle and energy and excitement in her voice. Okay. And people care more. I had a guy tell me yesterday, he had just moved down. He had spent 20 years in the airline industry in England, spent the last 20 years in the United States working for Virgin Airlines, and last year retired to South Carolina outside Myrtle Beach, originally from New York, New Jersey area. And what he said to me, he said, hey, I need to take my daughter and do some things. He said, I am financially good. 40 years, I had a good retirement. Okay. And I'm good that way. But I could always use just extra money that I don't have to account for. He said, the enthusiasm, excitement in your voice has got me very interested in wanting to do what you're doing. Okay, I'm looking to have fun. I'm looking to travel. I'm looking to hang with people that are active and want to have fun. And having extra money to throw around at my grandkids or my kids, or just taking trips whenever I feel like it, what harm could that bring? And it reminded me of Tara. Okay, and that, just that enthusiasm that's in her voice. So, we learned something years ago. When you're going to talk to somebody, okay, on the phone, if it's not a Zoom where you're seeing each other, you should have a mirror in front of you so you can see your face. Because that is what they are hearing in your voice, is what you're seeing in your face. And if your face isn't wired and excited and enthusiastic, they're not hearing it the way they will respond. Put a mirror in front of you and see what message you are doing. And you'll be surprised. And some of you be very, very surprised. I mean, we look at each other on Zoom all the time, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. We all do. Okay. That is so important in this business. And here we are, we have another new year. Okay. And I love the theme. It's time to thrive in 25. It's great. It rhymes, it sounds good. But when you look at what we can do for people, for their health, for their finances, for their freedom, for the culture that so many people are missing in their lives, the entire atmosphere, culture, and thing that we have with each other, okay, we have the answer for what people are looking for. But if your face and your voice and your language, if it is not excited, they're not going to respond to you the way you would like. Okay. And that's the key. That's the challenge I'm going to challenge you with for your New Year's resolution. Make sure you're looking in the mirror. Make sure that if people aren't telling you, hey, Noel, man, you're so freaking excited about what you're talking about, I'll do almost anything. Whatever it is you're doing, I'm in. Okay, that is what you should be thriving for at the end of a conversation, that they almost don't care what you're doing. They just want to do it because you're so excited about it. Okay, that should be all of our goal. And if that is our goal, okay, I'm telling you, you will not be able to deal with how many people sign up and join you in the business. So tonight, let me just go to the slide. We're going to talk about three things, and we'll try and keep our trainings back to as close to 30 minutes as we can. But, you know, sometimes we go off the rail a little bit like everybody else. But, you know, the three things tonight, okay, the 90-day weight loss challenge. Look, you've heard enough of that for the last 3 weeks that you should probably never want to hear it again. But April's going to cover it to make sure you just know what you're doing. Okay. And you're putting people in and you're saying the right things to get people in and you're using it to do business. Okay. You're not doing it so people can be part of the cash prize, which is now up to $29,000. Okay. It's gotten very, very large. There's a lot of categories and there's 5 winners in each category. That's all good. But the challenge is the cherry on top of the sundae. Okay. When they get on the product, they can be part of the challenge, and there's a lot of benefits that go with the challenge. Okay. So April's going to talk to you about that. I'm going to talk a little bit about this coming Saturday. You know, today's already the 5th. On the 11th is the corporate virtual Zoom. I'm going to talk to you about that and how we can get the most bang for our buck out of that. And then the 20th this month, 2 weeks from tomorrow, will be our regular monthly opportunity Zoom launch, you know, for our teams that we do. Generally, it's on, you know, Monday nights at 8:30. Sometimes it's a different night, but it's Monday night at 8:30, the 20th this time. But the one thing is we're going through things tonight, and as we're now already at the 5th, it's kind of like tomorrow's about the first day after the holidays. Okay. It's kind of some, you know, kids are going back to school. Tomorrow is when people are going to be back to their rut and doing the things that they had a break from for the last few weeks. And it's going to be very important that we are reaching out and let people know that we are really excited about the new year. It's funny, it was the theme of our service in church this morning. I really enjoyed it. We love our pastor anyway, but I really loved the sermon this morning because it had a lot to do as far as with the new year and with setting goals and things like that, but obviously from a biblical point of view. But it was very, very good. So this information as far as the January 20th, I'll put that in the group. I will send that out. I'll text it. I'll put it in Collagen Pics so that you can have it. But take a screenshot. Those are the details. The live link will be in the group and the shareable will be in there. If you don't want the number on it, just cover up the 386 part and, you know, ask them to message you for the ID number. But April, I'm going to stop my share here and give it to you.
Yeah. Hey, Happy New Year, everyone. I hope that you had a great holiday. I know we did. Excited to be back, though. I mean, you know, everybody's been busy. I can tell you today, a lot of people that had ordered the GLP-1 did the diet mode, waiting till after the holidays, got started today, asking questions, how to take it and stuff. The one thing I would say is make sure you're following up with people as they get started on it, because the directions say 30 minutes before meals for those 2 pills. And we really want people taking them first thing in the morning. It doesn't matter when they start to eat. So I hope at some point they kind of change that. But follow up when people get started on the product will really be important. You know, kind of a recap with this whole challenge that Bobby asked me to talk about. You know, even if you've got people that are thinner, not needing to lose weight, there's a whole bunch of health benefits and stuff they were talking about. And not everybody's going to want to do the challenge. They may feel that they only have 5 pounds, 10 pounds. but the information coming through the challenge is great. Going back to the Zoom that Rachel and Tara did last Sunday night, you know, priceless information about our products, you know, so you can direct people to take a look at it, even though they may not do the challenge, the information that they gave on that Zoom. So you want to be directing people. All of these things are tools. I think we should all, Bobby and I personally, we did the challenge, we did our photos, we did our measurements, we did everything too, because if I'm not doing it, I can't tell you how to fill out the form. You know, I can't tell you where the product experience guide is. So as a person that's going to either direct customers to get on the product, and the only reason Bobby and I deal a lot with customers is because we know when people get great results on our products, they become consultants. And that is really our end goal, because consultants are out looking for more people. That's the only reason we really want consultants. They're going to build business. Those are our business centers. But we got to get people using the product if we're not starting from the opportunity part. You know, Bobby said, you know, he talked to that gentleman in Myrtle Beach. I can't tell you how many people I've spoke to that $2,000 to $3,000 a month would change their life. $2,000 to $3,000. So that means, you know, if you taught yourself how to sell $1,000 worth of product, and then you taught 5 people to do the same thing, $1,000 worth of product, maybe, you know, 5, 6, 7 customers, and then you went one more level down, you know, you'd have a business doing about $31,000 in sales, earning you to about $3,200 a month. That's life-changing. $38,000 a year. That allows people to travel. These are the figures you're going to need to know. So you're either going to fall back on product, make sure your people get good results, and then you can get them into the business based surely on the product because they've talked to people about the product. Or you're going to now be able to show people if they want to make, I don't know, $650 a month, if they want to make $3,200 a month, you know, if they want to make $24,000 a month, you're going to need to show them how to be able to do that. So we're going to go either which way. So the challenge is another tool for us to be able to get people on the product, to get them excited about the product. So definitely, if you did not listen to Rachel's, for your own knowledge, definitely listen to the Sunday Zoom they did. You know, she did a goal setting on Monday that was equally phenomenal. You know, it actually helps you get motivated. It shows you how to measure last year from this year, how to, you know, if you're not looking at your figures from last year, everything looks the same. It doesn't look like you're moving forward. And I can tell you, Bobby and I spent a lot of time talking about all of you and what the movement looks like. You know, we have so many people that have no idea how much money they even make. They're just clueless to what they even make. So, you know, the challenge is good. It's another tool that we want. I put the product experience guide in the groups. So that's in the groups. If you've not seen that, it's like, I think it's like 24 pages long. Download it, take yourself through it. It's another tool you can send your people to. The form, I think it says form.1234 is also in the groups. If you do have somebody that wants to go through the challenge, but again, I would suggest you fill out that form for yourself so you know what to expect when somebody says, I can't upload my photos, or I don't know where or how to take the measurements, or, you know, we need to be, one of the things that we do is, you know, we help people through all this. So if we haven't done it for ourselves, we can't lead there. And then have them in both groups. You know, one of the things we need to do is really get active in both these groups. I can't tell you how often every once in a while somebody comes back out and says, you know, and it's interesting what they see. They don't comment, they don't like, but they know a whole lot just by having a conversation. So I know there's value to putting people in those groups. But the last thing you want to do is put somebody in that big group with 15,000 and not do any kind of follow-up with them, or put them in our littler group so that, you know, they can get some one-on-one there at least. But, you know, don't just put people in a group. The other thing that Tara had asked, and we've had this problem before, if you've done this and you're not familiar with using Facebook, you don't just go down your friend list and click, 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 and think you're inviting everybody to the group. One, they'll never get the notification. They have no idea about the group. again, it's all about a conversation. So you need to let them know the name of the group. I actually like to take the link off the top and send that to them so that they know. So I kind of do it twice that way. But this whole business, and Bobby was talking about it, what he's been doing the last few days. We need to get really good at starting conversations. And for the challenge, I put 2 conversations in the Team Unity, 2 conversations you can have as to, I'm going to be doing this challenge, this weight loss challenge. It might be something that you want to do as well. But I put 2 conversations in there. But the best thing you can do in this business, and sometimes it takes practice, it takes a little bit of thought, is to figure out how to be a conversation starter, how to get things going. And one of the things you can do easily is, on Facebook with stories, and I know everybody knows that scrolls through, instead of just looking at them, wish people Happy New Year. Love that picture. Start with little conversations. If you have problems just going out and texting somebody, I still say the contacts in our phone are a wealth of information. I repeatedly follow up with people over years. Sometimes they get back, sometimes they don't and stuff. But I do know when it's their time and they're ready and they're in need of doing something, my name is going to be there in front of them. My name's the one they're going to think of because I've been consistent in what I'm doing as far as doing my reach outs, and even, with my emails and texts, everything is consistency. And that's what pays so well in this business. But the challenge is going to be fun. There's been a wealth of information. If you've not been in that bigger group, a lot of information, a lot of different things. Particularly, I'm blown away by the number of people and the information I'm learning from those that are on synthetic shots and stuff right now. It's not a day goes by that I probably don't run down to Bobby and say, did you know? So all these different studies coming out and things people are telling me, and but we have a lot of people transitioning. So if you're going to help those people, you kind of got to have an idea of what's going on and be able to tag or refer them to a post out there, because there's a lot of different information out there. So great challenge for us. So grateful that those ladies took all that time to put this together. It's been a lot of fun. And what a great company, everybody working together. I mean, I'm sure this hasn't happened with any other company out there. I'm sure corporate's like, oh my goodness, what is going on here? So it's like we're all in one
corporate
line.
knows they just need to stay. Corporate needs to stay out of the way.
Yeah. Everything's perfect now.
Everybody's playing nice. Leave them alone.
So,
what's a little bit of a surprise is we're finding out, and again, the gentleman that worked in the airline industry for 40 years told me a lot of the people that are interested in getting on our GLP-1 have been on the shot or were on the shot or recently stopped using the shot. And that is forcing us to get an additional education that maybe we weren't thinking about getting. We were thinking, well, you could just say, easy to use, 2 pills and some powder, no needles and no shots, and that sounds good and that's great marketing, but it gets a little more involved if somebody has been on the shot, and especially if they've had some, number one, if they've gotten results on the positive side, that's a good thing, but then they may have had some negative things happen to them as far as side effects go. And so it's definitely been, don't be surprised, and it's not shocking, and it's not a problem. Okay, it's just something that's a lot more common than I thought, was going to be. And keep in mind, I was reflecting on this yesterday, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the January 11th Zoom, which if you're not registered, do it like now. Okay, when we hang up, it's free. And, it's always better that you watch these corporate virtual Zooms with a group of people, with your team, with guests. But by all means, at least watch it by yourself. If you're not going to be watching it with a team, there's no charge for it. It's at 12 o'clock Eastern time on Saturday. Okay. And you can figure the time zone based on where you are, but it's 10 o'clock Mountain, that's 12 Eastern, and whatever it is, your time it is. But it's probably only going to be about 90 minutes. It'd probably be less than 2 hours, but they're going to like cover the year, and what the plans are for the year. And as a business owner, and you are a business owner, you own a distributorship in this company, don't you want to know what's coming? I mean, I do, and I feel like April and I have some inside information every once in a while that we get, but not the way they're going to give it out on Saturday. I mean, they're just going to air it out and let us know what's what. So, keep in mind, like I was saying before, how important it is that people read your voice and your energy and your excitement. That will be the first reason they get involved with you, even more than collagen, even more than GLP-1. It's your body language, your voice, your enthusiasm, the way your voice cracks it. You just can't fake enthusiasm and energy and excitement. You just can't fake it. And if you don't have it, you need to find it. Okay. It may be because your goal is not big enough. It may be because what you're trying to do doesn't have enough meaning. It's not going to change things in your life that you want changed. April always does a great job, but Rachel did a great job Monday night with goal setting. And it was disappointing, extremely disappointing. There were over 1,500 people trying to get on Sunday night to hear about a weight loss challenge. And when it got important on Monday night on how to set goals to build a business, there were only 300 people on. That is sad, but our pastor mentioned this morning, and you've heard this number, only 3% of the population set goals. And most of the goals that were set 3 weeks into January, they've already stopped. It's over. Yet the goal setters, and he said something very interesting. Success with your goals has nothing to do with education. It has nothing to do with personality. It has nothing to do with your appearance, looks, whether you're good looking, not good looking, fat, skinny, whatever. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's the ability to hold yourself accountable to things that you desire to have that you don't currently have, and doing the things day by day to get closer to it. And it was very interesting. And I don't take notes in church. I listen. I know some people highlight their Bible and take some notes and stuff, but I enjoy our pastor, and I try and just focus on listening to him. But he was making reference where all these studies and things came from, and it was fascinating. So if you haven't set goals for yourself for this year, please do it. Okay. And make sure it's meaningful. The one thing, and April mentioned this before, things have dramatically changed with what people consider would change their lives. And, I go back 20 years ago and 25 years ago, and some of you knew me in April back in the other company. And the majority of the people we were working with back then were from the medical field, most of which were physicians. And you couldn't have a conversation with a physician about making an extra 2, 3, 4, 5,000 a month. They wouldn't even give you the hour to explain what you're doing, or a half hour to explain what you're doing. It just wasn't enough. Okay. And they weren't going to, and it's not that they wouldn't take it, and it's not that they wouldn't spend it. It just wouldn't get their attention, and it certainly wouldn't make them do anything extra that they weren't already doing. Well, now, yeah, we still work with a lot of doctors, but we work mostly with regular people, okay, just from all walks of life, not just the medical field. And the number that I'm hearing more than anything is 3,000 to 5,000 a month would change everything. It's not 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 a year. It's not that. It's $3,000 to $5,000. So let me ask you something, and be honest with yourself. If you're making 3,000 to 5,000 a month now with LifeVantage, if you are making that, how bad would it be if this year ended and you doubled that? And it went from 3 to 5 to 6 to 10. Okay, how bad would that be? Would that be god awful? or would that be a step in the right direction? Okay. And we forget that, and we turn, and look, last month, December, and congratulations to you, and thank you to all of you. It was our second best month in the business for the year. Now, October was the best month. Okay. We all know that. Okay. But last month was a good 20,000 more than November. Okay. So it was our second best month. Now it didn't hit October numbers, but it was by far our highest earning year and highest earning month since we got in LifeVantage. It's not close to what we had earned years before. But what I'm trying to get you to understand is we're talking to a lot of people. We're advertising, and we're talking to cold market people. We're talking to people that are blunt. They're blunt. They're not trying to cover things up because they see you socially. They're not trying to make things appear better than they are because they see you in church. They're not trying to keep an image up. These are people that don't care because they're calling from somewhere else in the country, somewhere they live somewhere else, and they're being blunt. And to me, when they're being blunt, it means they're being honest. Okay. And the honesty is 3,000 to 5,000 a month is what's coming out of most people's mouths. And we have a tendency, either because our jobs pay us more than that, or we're earning more than that in LifeVantage, we have a tendency to forget what that would do for most people's lives. So, number one, you need to have your goals set. And I don't care if you're making 300 to 500 a month. I don't care what the number is, but you got to have something. You got to set it so it means enough to you that you will do things even if you don't feel like doing them. See, that's the barometer. If it doesn't mean enough to you when you don't feel like doing something, you're not going to do it. It's that simple. If you don't feel like it, you're not going to do it. Now, if it has enough meaning to you, you'll do it no matter what. It'll become the top of the priority list, and you'll learn to shuffle around the other things in your life to do the things that are going to move your goal forward. Okay. And we all have the ability to shuffle. So don't tell me you can't shuffle. Okay. You can. But the meaning and the goal and what you want to accomplish in 2025 has to have enough meaning so you're willing to shuffle. You know, that's the key. You know, let me give you an example. And you know how much we love to play pickleball, and we're back to playing every day again, okay? Now, it's going to be cold this week, so that may be challenging. The nights are actually going to be in the 30s this week in Florida. That's unusual. But the reason I'm bringing it up is two dear friends of ours that we play with all the time, and they're all pickleball line in business, okay? And they're very successful in the other things they do in life. But they reached out, and there's a big professional tournament in St. Louis in July. And they want, and they like to gamble too, and they know we like casinos. So they reached out and said, hey, let's get box seats. We'll see if we can play, okay, if there's a tournament that amateurs can play in. But if not, let's get box seats for the pros, and we'll hit the casinos and make a 4-day weekend out of it in July. But sounded great. Okay, it's something typical we would do with these people. Okay, it's something very, but here's first thing we did. Number one, we know the 4th of July is the 4th of July. That takes up at least one weekend. And if it's in the middle of the week, it could take up 2 weekends. We also know that July, the company will do another live virtual Zoom. Halfway through the year, they do another, like they're doing this coming Saturday. There's another one in July. So we had to find out when the one is in July so we could tell them yes or no. And because where they want to go is in St. Louis. Okay. It's not like around the corner. We have to get tickets and Airbnb and everything else. So we had to find out, but our business is important enough that and the virtual is not going to be on the weekend where they wanted us to go. If it were, we weren't going. And they could have either found something on another weekend and we would have done that, or we would have just passed on it. Why? Because that's the second most important day for our business other than this coming Saturday. And we need to make sure everybody and that's what I mean by your goals got to be big enough. Your business has to have enough meaning to you that you will shuffle things around if you need to, so you can move your business forward. So having said that, please reach out to anyone and everyone that you have spoken to in 2024 and let them know what you're excited about in 2025. Update them. Look at how much has changed. You know, it's only been about 80 days since we got GLP-1 in Kansas City on October 12th. It's only been about 80 days. And we sold out. We were without it for most of those 80 days. Okay. And then it's back in stock now. It looks like we're in good shape now. Okay. But it's only been 80 days and we've gone through a bunch of highs and lows in that time. But look at the way 2025 is laid out in front of us with this new product on top of all the products we had before. The Evolve compensation plan has clearly proven it is the most lucrative, best, fairest compensation plan in the industry. It's going to keep network marketing companies in business. A lot of the ones that were going out of business and just deciding to pay influencers and people with customers and getting out of the network marketing space. It's going to keep a lot of companies in the space because we have the best plan and they're going to copy us. A lot of them are going to copy us, but they'll never have our product, so it doesn't matter. So reach out to everyone with your best, sincere, honest, enthusiastic voice of excitement and let them know what's new and let them find out and listen. Be a good listener. What can you do for them to help 2025 be their best year too? And if you start listening to what they want, you're going to find something that this business offers that you can match up with them. But you got to take the time to see what they want. You can't just be a salesperson. Okay, this guy that I was talking about in Myrtle Beach that was in the airline industry for 40 years, we talked for almost an hour, okay? And we decided we liked each other. We decided we'd like to do more. We decided we're close enough that maybe we should meet if we're going to talk serious business. We talked about a lot of stuff. And the big thing I decided he and his wife are somebody that I think me and my wife should hang out with for a day or go to dinner or go to Myrtle Beach and see what we think, because they could be builders. And not only that, but friends, not only that, but partners. Okay. And that's the key to this business. It's the relationship, the culture, all of the things I just mentioned. But please reach out. You know how people's lives changed. It doesn't matter. And you know, I don't normally do this, but if you want to see a typical message that I send out, but it's got my video in it, it's not going to be any value to you. But if you want to see what I'm trying to get across, I don't mind sharing it with you. But the message is Bobby, and you know Bobby, okay? And the message is me, so you can't be me just like I can't be you. But the one thing that they get is I am freaking excited about what I'm doing. And that's all I'm trying to get you to be excited about what you're doing, so they want to get involved with whatever it is that you're doing. And they're ripe right now, folks. I'm telling you, the atmosphere has never, there's a level of enthusiasm and confidence in this country moving forward that hasn't been there in many years. And people don't know what to hitch their wagon to. And we need to let them know they can hitch their wagon to us. It's like they're getting excited, but with no place to go. They don't know which vehicle to choose. And we got to let them know that we got the vehicle. Okay, that's your job and my job. Okay, They're looking and wondering, and we know, but we got to put those two things together. Does that make sense? Does that like add up? Does that make sense to you? If you were talking, if you weren't in this business and you were talking to someone that was all wired, excited, sincere, enthusiastic about what they had moving forward, wouldn't you at least want to look at it? And that's what we got. And people will look at it if you do your part. So April?
That's all well said. Just start conversation. If you ask enough questions, you're going to get an opening for the business. Just keep talking to the person. People love to talk. Keep asking questions and they'll bring something up. A lot of times the first thing they have to say is not the absolute truth. Life is good. And then the more you allow them to talk, you'll get down to the nitty gritty of it, the problem, and then you've got a solution, and you can start with product, you can start with opportunity, but just be a problem solver for them. That's all. Just, I might have something that can help you with that, and just answer their questions at that point, but you gotta let them talk. It's so hard for people.
So
Just
important.
keep asking a
So
lot of
important.
questions.
We automatically want to go in sales mode.
Yeah.
And what pays better is being in listening mode. That is what they want a sympathetic ear that they can vent and talk to. And then all you got to do is match it up. That's all you got to do is match it up. So anyway, we're a few minutes over. Anyone got any questions or comments or anything they want to share before we call it a night?
Yeah, I think Cheryl just asked about the recording, and somebody asked about synthetics. Again, listen to the videos. The company itself, a lot of the doctors from the company have done a tremendous amount of videos, taking people from the synthetics to ours. Get in the activated weight loss group. A lot of testimonies in there. Again, you can tag people in there, but again, make sure they know they're being tagged. So there's lots of information out there, and you really just want to be a relay. I wouldn't even say, I know, I just said, here's a video, here's a person's post or comment or whatever.
And keep in mind, folks, with that, the company is never going to get involved on the synthetic side. That's big pharma, and we're nutrition. Okay, they're never going to get. So what's out there is what our doctors in the business are experiencing, but it's not going to come from corporate. You're going to get it from like that group that April just talked about. It activate. That's where that stuff is going to be, because corporate has to stay out of that. That's not the business they're in. Okay, it's what we deal with and what we hear as marketeers with the product that we have. So just go to the group and it'll be there. Fred, I see you have your hand raised. What a good boy. You raised your hand.
Yeah, I'm just raising my hand, being polite, being Canadian. And speaking of Canada, tomorrow we have dragon fruit Axio in the market. It was supposed to be at the end of November, but the Canadian Customs blocked it. But Alexis Gebhardt, our awesome general manager, finally got it approved. And through we actually have 2 flavors of Axio now in Canada in market, so we don't need to go to get the dragon fruit from the not for resale site. So
Still have to get our
great.
Hey,
Yeah.
Bobby.
Hey.
This is Allie. I just wanted to mention, you were talking about on the Ozempic and stuff, and you don't know how many people are on it, and now they're coming out with it. There is a subculture around that of shame. So when you're talking to people and they bring that up, you have to be really careful with your messaging.
I agree 100%.
That you're like really tenderhearted and concerned, and
Now, and it's
bad.
Thanks, Allie. Thanks for saying that, because we've heard it so much that you got to feel for that. Okay, that they're not even going to come out and share with you unless they feel you're like neutral.
Yeah.
With it, and you're not going to. Perfect word for it is shame. It's because a lot of even the people that got fantastic results with no side effects sometimes don't want to tell you they used it and were on it. And then the ones that went on it and things didn't go so well, they definitely. So just be neutral. And it goes back to, and Alec, thanks so much for saying that. If you're a good listener and your focus is to be a problem solver and offer a solution, there's never any reason to knock anything, and it's like I had mentioned earlier, my whole marketing thing when I was reaching out to people was that, hey, it's it's user friendly. 2 pills and some powder, no shots and no needles, with a smiley face. I'm not offending anybody, okay? And anybody that wants to say something or ask about it can ask about it, but I'm not saying anything. It's not a secret that most people don't like needles, okay? And but I appreciate that, Ali. That is a good point, and I've kind of seen that culture out there. It is definitely out there. So anybody else? Okay, we good? All right, so one last recap. Do the best you can on Saturday to either be with your team or watch the LifeVantage virtual Zoom with people, with guests, okay? And then by the morning, if not tonight, it might even be tonight, but the invite, both with the live link and the shareable for the hour launch on the 20th, will be either texted out or in the group for you to have too. So anyway, Happy New Year, everybody. Let's make this the best year all of us have ever had, and not just with LifeVantage, with our health, our families, our relationships, our, everything in our spiritual life, everything. Let's just make this the best year ever. Thank you, everybody. God bless.